What statistics are most relevant to include in a grant application? That's the question we're going to jump into today, and I have three of the most important statistics or categories of types of statistics that you should consider putting into your grant application to support your primary points. I'm Benjamin Dean from grantgetting.com. Thank you for jumping into this video. I hope you enjoy it and others like it on this channel, which are aimed at helping you get more grants. In the description below, there's a link to a free download with 7 additional tips on types of statistics to include in your grants. So let's jump in. 3 categories of data or statistics to include. Number 1, impact data. Number 2, financial data. And number 3, benchmarking data. These are 3 of the most important types of statistics to include. Impact data. One of the most important, if not the most important, is impact data. And these numbers show the sort of direct and measurable effects that your organization is having on the community. Okay, if you're providing services to a particular community, how many individuals have benefited? What are the specific outcomes that are being achieved? Metrics such as how many people you've served, the percentage improvement in key areas, or how many programs you've successfully completed can go a long way in improving your credibility. So for the purpose of this video, I'm using impact data with a lowercase I. You will know that when we're talking in logic model terms, impact means the furthest downstream that we can possibly see, the societal or community changes that result based upon your interventions in the community or interventions on individuals. As you move more upstream, the counting numbers are your outputs, and that which is in between, potentially the most important, is the change in knowledge and change in behavior of your beneficiaries, primary or otherwise. So when we're talking in this video, impact data, that means all of it. Okay, outputs, outcomes, change in knowledge, change in behavior, and change in experience or change in conditions. Okay, all of that will just call for this video impacts. So that's a category. A category of data that you want to show is results. Okay, now if you have results from previous work that you've done, outputs, outcomes, and impacts, if you have results, wonderful. Parse out what is relevant, what is timely, what is specific for this application, and have it ready when you're writing your grant application. Okay, if you have some of that, but it doesn't feel like enough, or just you want to have more data, which is always a good thing, you need to think about similar organizations and the results that they have. Can you parse out other organizations that have done work similar to yours and what they report in terms of outcomes? You're typically not going to want to benchmark, and I'll use benchmarking later. You're typically not going to want to look at impact data of another organization specifically on the outputs unless you are benchmarking trend in growth. What you want to look for in impact data is that outcome data. So as to say, you are in Spokane, Washington, and you see an organization has done something that you want to do, that you are planning to do as a new program in Miami, Florida. And this group in Miami, Florida, they've done this for 5 years. They're producing reports saying, here are the changes in knowledge and changes in behavior. They probably won't say it like that, but you can parse it out. Here are the outcomes that we have gained because of these interventions in Miami. You can point to that and say, hey, here's some impact data. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to say that we're going to be doing this same thing. It is very logical to assume or to project that we're going to have these same impacts. Okay, that's another way to do it. The other is pilots. Pilot programs and beta testing new projects is one of the secrets to success in grant writing, is making small experiments, conducting a small sort of sampling of a new project or project expansion, gaining feedback, gaining insights into it so that you can better perform those services first and foremost, but secondarily, so that you can tell funders that you did that and what you learned from it will be applied in what you will be receiving money for. So if you want to do a new project and you want impact data, but you don't have any impact data because you've never done this before and you can't find anybody else that's done this, then do a small sample size. Okay, pick a small sample size, pick out in startup, language, it's the minimally viable product that you're delivering to the community. What is the most valuable thing that you are providing? What is the unique thing, the new thing that needs to be tested? And pick that thing out or multiple things out, put it to a small sample group, get their feedback, and that's a pilot. You've done a pilot program of what you are now applying for. It is a totally different application if you have some degree of impact data, some degree of change in behavior data that you have operated yourself. So that's category 1, impact data. Category 2, in terms of data, is financial data. Financial understanding is essential. Funders need to know that you have a solid grasp on the finances of a program or project. They need to know that you can manage the funds that you're asking for responsibly. This includes your overall organizational budget. This includes your project budget, your program budget, your contingency plans. It includes all of it. Things such as, what is the cost per beneficiary for this program? What is the cost per intervention, right? The cost per event. What does it cost for you to provide your service to one person? Okay. How does that compare to other organizations that do similar work? Is it higher or lower, and why? It's not necessarily a bad thing that it's higher. Many times it's a good thing because you are more intentional, but you need to know that having clear financial metrics and KPIs, key performance indicators in your financials, are going to allow you to run a better program, but also allow you to articulate in better detail what the heck is going on financially with your projections as you're asking for money. That's category 2. Category 3 is benchmarking. Benchmarking is an effective way to show funders that you are aware of the broader context within which you operate. Comparing your organization's performance to similar organizations locally, nationally, it actually doesn't really matter, can help demonstrate that you're performing at a certain level, or that you're performing or trending towards a high level. When you're looking at success rates, service delivery costs, or community outcomes, benchmarks will give funders a standard by which to measure your success. Nonprofits are generally completely unregulated in terms of the outputs that they provide. There's not a huge lens in to see the actual hard data, and there's not a third party. You're collecting the data and you're telling me you did a good job or you had success. So there's a lot of opportunities to mess this up. Okay, but benchmarking allows you to tell funders, here is what you should be grading me on. Here are our standards based upon third party, based upon looking at similar organizations. It's the type of data that shows that you're constantly evaluating things and you're improving your performance. This is something that funders want to see. So you want to be looking at milestones. You want to be looking at third-party benchmarks. You want to be talking with other organizations that have successfully implemented programs or projects. You do not have to pretend that you're the first person to do something. Okay, that doesn't get you any brownie points with any sophisticated funder. For the most part, if a funder sees this is the first time anybody's ever tried this, that's high risk. Okay, so then you have a higher barrier to get over to show that you are prepared to do something that nobody else has ever done. Right? Now, that might be a strategy that you want, and it might make sense to do that, but you need to be aware of that. Benchmarking can help level set those situations. Okay? That's an important category. All right? It's a category of statistics that typically people forget. Okay, so these are 3 types of statistics in the download in the description. There's 7 additional types of statistics or statistical categories that you need to think about having at your disposal when you're sitting down to prepare grant applications. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to comment below if you have questions about types of statistics or gathering statistics. I'd love to jump in and help there too. Thank you so much for jumping in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.